And my name's Melissa Davis. I have been a teacher of first grade for 23 years. I'm Janette Daniels. I've taught for 25 years.
I'm Lisa Clark. I've only taught for 2 years.
Amanda Adams, 15 years.
Marilyn, 12 years.
Tammy, 16 years.
So with over 90 years of teaching experience in early education, we've noticed that many of our first grade students have been unable to participate in the accelerated reader program. If you're in early education, the leveling system in Renaissance is sometimes they have to go low enough, but some of the books are very, very difficult, even leveled at 0.5, 0.4. For a beginning reader, a 1.0 is sometimes difficult because sometimes they have 2-3 syllable words that are not decodable for our younger readers. So we decided to create our own AR test. So if anybody knew that there is an ag content button, has anybody made their own AR test? Okay, so that's what we decided to do. And we have a lot of resources in our classroom that we have that are not in the Renaissance Library. So we have a lot of resources. So we decided to make our own test, and we decided to make our own books. And a few of the books that we have available, we used our past reading series, which is Treasures. And some of their leveled readers are already in the Renaissance system, but some of their main selection books were not in the system. Some of their lower leveled reading books were not in the system. And I don't know about the new Treasures, but we have our benchmark series that was not a part of anything in the Renaissance system. And we have Reading A to Z too. So we actually used some of our community partner donated ink and a binding machine, and we were able to make a lot of our own books using our Reading A to Z. So that's what we did, and then we created AR tests from those books too. So here's some examples, and on our board here, we showed you some of the books that we've already created. And some of the, like, for example, I know this doesn't sound challenging to, older teachers that teach older children, but an R blend book kids would be able to decode the words easier, and then we would create a test on that. So all of our students would be able to participate in the Renaissance program. So, for example, a lot of our students, the higher level students, we know that they can read basically anything. Anything you put in front of them, they can do. Average readers, they'll progress. But we really wanted to target our emergent readers and our struggling readers to be able to participate in the program. So what our hopes are at the end of the year, that everybody will meet their goal and get a trophy or a medal. And that is so, last year, many of our students made it. There was a few that did not. And our individualized goals, sometimes we have our higher readers that have a higher goal. Then we have maybe our special education, children in special education. They may have an adapted goal. But all kindergarten and first at our school have goals. And we're kind of different from other schools. Our school split several years ago, and now we are just preschool, kindergarten, and first. And it is extremely wild at our school. It's like little children everywhere surrounding you. But anyway, we just wanted to have a full participation and engagement with all of our children. And we have started it. And they're reading, they're using all of the available resources. And a lot of the books that we had in our classroom, we had such a variety, but there were no tests on them. And as early education teachers, we sent books home to practice that were decodable because they have to be able to sound out words. But they were not able to test on those books. We sent homework home that they were not able to test on, but now they can. So as a team, we have created we were trying to count them the other day, probably 300 tests from just our own system, just through hard work and determination. They said I'm really bossy, and I would just give them books and say, we need to create a test on this, and so that's what we did, and it's a lot of hard work, but it has been worth it. Now, with our grant money, what we're going to do this year is just continue what we've already started through Reading A to Z. We've purchased our own binding machine. We haven't received it yet, but laminating pouches, and we do already have a color printer, so we can already print our books off and go ahead and be doing that. And then they can begin taking the test. Oh, then we have to create the test. And some of the things that we put on our board is, I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Ag Content button. That is the button that you would have to push to create an AR test. And we have handouts for you guys if you ever wanted to do this on your own, or do it with a buddy, just to create some of the tests, so that everything you're seeing at home, you feel that it's going to be valuable and they can participate in that program too. And again, we were really targeting our emergent and struggling readers, just so they can participate. One thing that may not be motivation for middle or high school is this little flower. Who would think that a flower would be motivation? But their eyes light up, their face like, we grew our flower, and they're so excited about that. And it's worth it when we see our kids really know that they're doing something fun, but they also are learning at the same time. So one thing about the AR test, so that we know that our books that we have created, and then the books that are in the Renaissance Library, all of our AR tests that we've created starts with the digits 400. So we can really distinguish between Renaissance books already in the library and the books that we have created. So we're hoping that we can compare accuracies between those tests and already tests that are in the library. So you can see we just pulled a little bit of a girl's record from our classroom, and she, in this one little section, she's taken 4 of the teacher-created AR tests that we've already done. So when you push this button, you'll have to type in your author and all of those. There's different fields you have to type in. Then you can download a template, and the handout tells you exactly how to do it. So you can be as creative. You could even do chapters versus a whole book if you're a teacher that teaches older students. So there's so many varieties. The Renaissance program does want you to follow a protocol, but we use it for different standards for whatever we are wanting to teach for that time. And again, we want kids to be motivated to read, and we want to be able to use all of our resources to help mainly our emergent and struggling readers, and of course all students to be successful. Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody want to see? Oh, we did. We just laminated.